Hi, my name is Dan Landauer. I'm a psychiatric drug coach and I help people effectively recover their lives from prescription drug damage. Today's video I'm going to talk about anhedonia. Anhedonia is basically, if I had to describe it, for me it was an inability to feel joy, happiness, pleasure, even pain. I went through anhedonia for probably a couple months, and during that time it was like just this barren landscape of emotions. It was like feeling nothing, basically. It wasn't feeling happiness, it wasn't feeling depression, really, even. It wasn't even really feeling sadness, it was just feeling like nothing. It was just almost like the absence of emotion. Although anxiety was still there, of course. Like, I was always anxious. But it's really hard and it's really troubling for people. And I've talked to a lot of people recently who have been going through anhedonia. A lot of people get it from coming off of antidepressants, benzodiazepines, sometimes mood stabilizers will do it to people. Antipsychotics seem to put people into anhedonia. And it can be really scary. It can be really, really frightening to go through when you feel like you're basically detached from life. You feel like there's this disconnection from you and just life in general and everybody around you. Your life as you knew it is distant. It just feels like you're completely disconnected, and it's really scary. And the scariest thing is this going to last, and how long is this going to last? Is this going to go away? Am I ever going to feel like myself again? Because I feel like my old self is gone, and I feel like a ghost of my former self, and I'm just going through life like completely disconnected from everything. And it's this real feeling of like isolation, and like nobody understands what you're feeling and what you're going through. And it's really, really, it's scary. And somebody I was talking to recently, I think, gave it the best description I've ever heard, which was, they said, it feels like I'm living inside of a glass jar. And there's just like this glass like wall around me, and I can't, it's like impenetrable. It's just me, I'm isolated here. Nobody understands how this feels, and I can't even express how it feels to people. And characteristics of who you are gone. Like, you feel like your creativity oftentimes is stripped away from you. You feel like aspects of your personality, almost like this inability to find humor in things. If you were somebody who likes to joke around, or you were once witty, you feel like that's been taken away from you. It's horrible. You really feel like you're just this empty shell of a person when you're going through it. And the way this presented in me is, after I came off of the cocktail of drugs that I was on, it didn't set in right away for me. It took probably about a month or so. And after the first month of being off meds, I remember I was going to go jogging. I was going to go try to exercise or go walking or something. I put on my running shoes and I went out to this park that was close to my home, and it had this 7-mile paved loop. And I got out there, and it was this like beautiful sunny fall day in October, and I started walking or jogging on this trail. And I remember I felt nothing, like nothing. It was like somebody had picked me up and like put me into this alien world where everything around me seemed foreign, and I felt just this barren landscape. Like, I felt like I was just, somebody just like put me in Antarctica, and there was just like nothing around me. It was just the craziest thing to describe how that felt. And it was really scary, and I'm like, what is going on? And I didn't know what anhedonia was. I didn't have a word for it. I had never even probably heard the term anhedonia at this point. All I knew was that I felt horrible, and I felt no emotion, and I was really scared that this was some sort of like weird mental state that I had slipped into. But it lasted for me for, I don't know, a while. I feel like it was a couple months, but it's hard to remember exactly. But it was just this feeling, again, like I was completely disconnected, isolated. And there was, as my friend described it, like I was living inside of a glass jar around me, and I couldn't get out, and nobody could get in. And some people, this can last for a while, and it sucks. And the only thing that I can really attribute it to is like a dopamine deficiency, where for some reason our reward system gets hijacked, and the things that normally give us that shot of dopamine are just, it's not working. The whole dopamine system is down. So things, that would normally give you a shot of dopamine, like achieving a goal or having a conversation with somebody, having a meal, exercising, doing something good and healthy for yourself. It's just, you're not getting it. You're not getting those healthy chemicals. Your body is trying to rewire itself. It's trying to heal itself from the damage done by whatever medications you were on. And so for a period of time, while that dopamine system is down and you're being healed and you're going through this process, you feel horrible. And all sorts of symptoms can happen, of course, but one of these that we're talking about right now, the anhedonia, is just this, it's like all those natural feel-good, healthy chemicals, the oxytocin, the serotonin, the dopamine, it's like all those just like stop working for a while. And you feel horrible. You feel like this empty ghost walking around. And it takes a while in some cases to come back. And for some people it can take quite a while. I mean, quite a long time, really. I would encourage you, if you're going through anhedonia, what I did was I didn't stop doing the things that I knew were healthy for me. I pushed myself at times to make sure that I was engaging in something that would normally be serotonin or dopamine inducing. So exercise. I kept exercising. I kept going out and getting fresh air and sunlight, and basically making myself go through the motions as if I was acting as if this was going to help me. And I really didn't know. I was just trying to kickstart my dopamine system. So I would get on the treadmill and I would go for long walks. I would go to the gym and I would start lifting weights a little bit, or just doing any kind of exercise. Going for long walks outside, trying to engage in activities that I've once found pleasurable. So listening to music, or going fishing, or whatever it is for you, whether it's hobbies, arts, crafts, singing, dancing, whatever it is. And you might do those activities for a while and really feel nothing. You might feel absolutely hollow inside while you're doing those afterwards, and that's normal. That's normal for anhedonia. You're not going to feel it for a while. But I think the repetition of doing those things eventually is going to kickstart your dopamine system. It's eventually going to come back online. It's not going to last forever. And you're eventually going to start to feel good again. But I don't think that sitting around and waiting for it to come back is going to make it come back any faster. I really think that trying to do something, whatever it is, the smallest act that might give you normally a little shot of dopamine, is really going to help you. And if nothing else, I mean, you're going to feel like you're at least doing what you can, and you're giving your attention to it, and you're trying to fight for your life back, and you're fighting for your emotions to come back while you're engaging in these things. So you're taking an active participatory role in your recovery from anhedonia. And I think there's a lot to be said for that. I mean, again, you're not going to feel it for a while, very possibly, but eventually it's going to come back online. It sucks. It sucks to go through, like so many of the things from psychiatric drug damage. And, I know that a lot of people get damaged and go into anhedonia from a very, very short run with psychiatric medications. Not everybody was on for many years like me, where I was on psych meds for, I don't even know how long. I know I was on benzos for 13 years and other psych meds. I started when I was 17 years old to when I was 34. So I was on them for a long time. So it's not surprising for me that I had almost every symptom in the book to some degree. But I know it's overcomable. I know it's not insurmountable. I know that it's very possible to heal from psychiatric drug damage. Anhedonia, I know is possible to overcome. I know while you're going through these symptoms, it feels like it's going to last forever. It's always the hallmark of going through this is the feeling is, oh my God, this feels like it's permanent, or what if this doesn't let up, or what if it is permanent? Those are always the scariest thoughts. And I get it. Those were the scariest thoughts for me too, going through it. But it's not permanent. You're going to get through it, but it will take time, however long it takes for you, but you will get to the other side. So I hope this video was helpful. I hope I accurately described anhedonia. And I know it can be kind of on a scale, just like a lot of things. You know, some people have it pretty intensely, where others, it's a little bit more mild. So I hope it was helpful. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.